Oh, boy. 4/21/2013. As I say so often, I am so grateful for what I have. Um, my job kind of sucks, but because of what I have, it's functional. I wouldn't be able to do it if I lived anyplace else. Well, I would just have nothing. That's not exactly nice. Um, because I do have a little bit of land to work with, I ain't never gonna get no money out of it, but it's something I do for fun. That I can do for fun, actually. Ugh, it's a lot of hard work. I was like talking to Diane, and she just got back today, and she wanted to have red mulch for the garden. And I'm like, that's fine. She said it's 4 for 10, which is half price. It ends tomorrow. We got 8 bags today. She's going to go get 8 bags tomorrow. And if I do all the work, it's going to take a long time. I was like, you get some exercise doing some work outside. And she said, well, you said the outside was your territory. Yeah, well, I could use little assistance. You need the exercise too. Besides, you don't ever vacuum in the living room. You say you're afraid you're going to blow a fuse. Yeah, and if I try and vacuum, you have a fit. You don't do it that often. It's just real quickie. There ain't a hell of a lot of hard work in vacuuming. It's just doing it because you got motivation. Getting the motivation is tough sometimes. But yeah, it would be cool if she assisted, and then she won't bitch if I vacuum the living room, because occasionally it needs to be done, and I could really use some assistance trying to build this thing we're trying to build for the homestead. And I was like, it's still the first month of spring, and there's 3 months of spring, then there's 3 months of summer, and 2 months, 3 months of fall. But the first 2 months ain't that bad. The last month, shit starts going downhill, and then you end up in winter again. So there's a fair amount of time in this time zone, in this climate. But in fucking Siberia and Alaska, you don't got a heck of a lot of time. You really do gotta hustle. Yeah. They cut me off at 4:30 today. If there was going to be a rush, I didn't even get to see it. There's a lot of sad things about my job. I mean, really, I don't even make $40 a day anymore, on average. But somebody's got to do it. When she comes home, she's like, what did you do? It didn't look like you did anything. She's looking at what she was thinking somebody should be doing. You didn't plant my plant. She won't do it. You didn't plant my plants, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. Yeah, well, you know, I had other things that need to be done. At the time, I just got home, and, you know, typically for me, I want to have my beer and go outside. You want to talk to me? Come outside. She don't do that unless it's summertime. That's alright, you know. The only trusted companion I have, and it's a beautiful thing. But everybody's got their things about them that make them who they are. After I had a beer, I was like, well, I did spread out the rest of that bag of peat moss. Along with, I got the trimmer or the weed whacker, and I whacked that. And, you know, I'm going to go on and on and on. Not really. I mean, there's like 3 or 4 more things, but not what she had in mind. If you got your own agenda, you know, I suggest go ahead and do it. I'd appreciate it. As long as you're not messing up my own plans. We have pretty much similar plans, so I don't think you could mess it up too badly. It's alright. I kind of wanted some sweets in the house too. She sent me on a sweets from. She said, "You got $15. That's all you can spend." I spent $14.10. Didn't count. I just did it. And I also bought a big bag of potatoes. I just dig potatoes, man. I slice them into pieces, cook them up, boil them up. Once they're all nice and soft, drain the water, and then I fry them. And damn, awesome. You know, every day. You know, someday I'm gonna get tired of those things. I used to eat spaghetti and hot dogs every day, potatoes and hot dogs every day, potatoes and meatballs every day, potatoes and hot dogs every day. You get tired of it after a while. But, you know, I was a young person too. And it's worse now, but nonetheless, it wasn't easy when I was young either. Ain't no way I could have raised a kid. Entry level, fuck that, man. Borrow. Yeah, even without kids, I borrowed and just to stay alive. And that really wasn't a good path to be putting us on. So I finally decided that I'm going to have to deal with that tire. I plugged the other one. Yeah, I had 2 flat tires in 2 months. Never in my life did I have 2 flat tires in 2 months. It happened. I screw, literally. One of these critters in the front tire. Pulled that out and plugged it. I ran off the road, and evidently I ran into a board with nails in it. I've stepped on them, actually. That wasn't fun. Long time recovery. This kid seemed like forever. And you gotta go to that nasty person that says, "You must allow me to do this. You need this, and it's going to hurt." Well, I didn't feel the damn nail, at least not that way, but whatever. The needles are much finer nowadays, you don't even notice them. But back then, you did. I got rid of a board with a nail in front of the house too. I noticed it. Yeah, I stepped next to it and said, oops, yeah, good thing to take that out of there. It doesn't look like anything until it's in your foot. Then you know there was something there. Oh, it is a diary, isn't it? Totally. What I am thinking on this day. I like to believe that it matters, but most of us, whoever became something, it didn't matter when you were young, you know. I know that. I did my diaries, I did my tapes. I'm 46 years old, and I still don't know for a fact that anybody really cares about Whitehawk. Jeff Colt, yeah, you know, they care about getting what they're due. Whitehawk, they don't really know. Richard Stephen Marchese said, send this to your mom. It was a shared item about wolves, and my comment back was, my mother would not understand or not understand publicly. But I personally am the Santa Claus guy. Except I'm not Santa Claus. I ain't nothing but Whitehawk. God knows if I come here before or not. I like to believe I have. You know. Doctor Who type thing. But you're only really aware of what you're doing at the moment, how you perceive things and how you interpret them, and what you do with that. That makes you. It does, doesn't it? I love it when Daddy talks to me. I have no idea what's going to come through. Just checking the time. Sometimes I get talking and next thing I know, it ain't listening. The only thing good about day shift as a pizza driver, I don't make any money any day hardly anymore. But day shift, at least during the summer, spring and summer, and most of fall, I can get home before the sun goes down. When I work second shift, I typically, which is I just pretty much live on second shift at the moment. So I get up around 12. Yeah. There's still time to do things. Yeah, I'm just so fucking grateful I got a place to actually do things other than get stoned and hope for a better day. At least for me it happened. I'm going to say you gotta have some plans. They can't be mine. I had a lot of plans, most of them burned, but enough of them that I got here. Nothing's going to be handed to you. Diane saved money. I got my experience with the world, and together, her and me, we got something done. But it was definitely not handed to either one of us. She couldn't do it without me. I couldn't have done it without her either. Lots of things love to eat it all and toss it. or shit it out. Actually, that's kind of how it happens. Eat it and shouldn't. You build up a lot of fat if you're able to. In a human body, fat is fat. In a society, fat is money. Um, but in a human body, fat is bad. But in a society, fat reserves cash. Not always bad. It's how it's used. Whales get really fat, and then they don't eat for 6 months, and they have babies in the same process. Yeah, nature has use for fat. Yeah, just saying. I still think it's sad that the dad didn't stop in and visit Nanny. She's like, well, if she's out on a walk or something and your mom answers, what am I supposed to say? I came to visit Nanny and not you? Yeah. Mom really is not a very talkative person. Dan tries to treat everybody as she would treat herself, which is as it should be. Some people just ain't like certain people. Treat everybody fairly, I agree with that, but understanding that mom don't really talk a lot, she'll accept you and see you go all in the same 2 seconds and consider it normal. I might do the same. But Nanny, for me, is family. Mom is family, but not much so. In terms of conversation, I dig that she did what she did. I understand it. I saw it. I digested it and shit it out and understood it. And it is what needs to be. But Nanny is a whole different character. I think Nanny could be friends with her family. I think Nanny could be friends with Diane. It's getting late in her life, and I'm trying to. And Diane's probably saying, "You do it." When do I get a day? More than a day off. We'll see. It's not necessarily a day off. It's a day from needing to do something that isn't very profitable, evidently isn't that valuable. But yeah, I need to do it. I probably have to be the one that does it. Introduce everybody and all that crap. It isn't that tough, but it's not part of my world either. Hattie's the only one out of the family that's left in that little dot that she actually ended up back in. She was away from the rest of the family in New York for about 10 years. But, like I say, in the very least, I'd like to have her here at least once. I just don't. I'm not used to having company. I know what family is. I just don't have much of it. Family is when you can actually say, day's done, let's just all crash together. And Wolf would say that. Eagles don't have a whole lot of family. They're very much loner. There's the hybrid within me, right? Champ couldn't stand being alone. An eagle would consider it quite normal. As it stands within my time, I just don't know what it. I know I said it, I know I meant it, but I don't see how it affects anything that is. You know? Talking to Richard Stephen Marchese, I believe I talked about this, and I said, I'm a force in nature. As I grow and learn. I don't see how this has much to do with a force of nature. I kind of understand, but when you look at the reality of what I got and what I am, I mean, it's amazing that I got what I got, but you gotta say, you gotta acknowledge. I mean, the immensity of the imagination of those who make movies has really increased. Instead of the creature from the Black Lagoon, we got critters that can do blow up planets, Dragon Ball Z, among other things. Imagination has really skyrocketed. That's cool, actually. I like to think I'm important in time. Yeah, it's a good thing to have a good sense of yourself. I'm important. This could be Sesame Street. You need to feel that I'm important. Not me, I mean you. You need to feel that you are important. I feel I'm important. Somehow I managed to get here. When you're 13 or less, I was planning for pretty much, I don't know, forever. But for me to accomplish the test that Daddy gave me, I need you all to start thinking out of the box, as they say. Be the best you can be, because that's how I'm going to accomplish my task. If you can't be the best you can be, I might not have use for you. Whitehawk says, I love you. Try to love me back. Give me the best you got.